Welkom bij Dutch TV. Vandaag gaan we het hebben over de liefde, of beter gezegd voor de liefde naar Australië. Want je hoort best wel eens dat Nederlanders hier komen wonen omdat ze verliefd zijn geworden op een Aussie. Maar ik was toch best verrast toen ik onlangs op mijn Facebookpagina Dutch TV Australia hiernaar vroeg. En de respons was echt overweldigend. Dus hier in de studio zitten Jeroen en Robin. En de lovely Alison, is the wife of Robin. Welcome in the studio. I will do the rest in English because the Aussie is not speaking Dutch, I think.
Not yet.
No. So, for you guys first, how did you meet each other?
It's about 10 years ago now, I think. I traveled to Australia for a year of backpacking and met some friends in Sydney and decided to catch up with those friends later on in Melbourne. And one of the group of people we met there, one of their mutual friends was Alison, actually. I continued traveling for a few months from Melbourne all around Australia, but I think afterwards, in hindsight, you can see me sort of traveling to the west, back to Melbourne, to the north, back to Melbourne. And
cute.
people at home started to notice as well, like, why are you keeping going back to Melbourne? And we keep seeing this lovely lady on your photos, and who is that? And yeah, so that's how we met.
Oh, okay. And then did you go back to the Netherlands?
Yes, I did. I stayed in Australia for a year. I was really lucky because when I met Alison, she already had travel plans to go to Europe and work there for a couple of years.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I moved back to the Netherlands, but it's about a year later, I think, that you moved to Belfast in Northern Ireland.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that made it a lot easier for us to keep in touch because Amsterdam-Belfast is about 15 minutes, an hour's flight maybe, rather than 24 hours.
Yeah. And how was it with you? How did you meet your partner? She's not here.
No, she's not here. She couldn't come. But my mum took the whole family on a cruise for her 65th birthday, and on that cruise I met my wife, and that was 2012. She thought, I'll just go with my friend a bit further into Europe, and then maybe we could like meet each other again in the Netherlands.
Okay.
And so she went with her friend to England and everything, and then went from Edinburgh to Amsterdam by herself.
Okay, so that's actually a little bit the same, eh? That she actually traveled as well to Europe instead of staying in Australia and there. Oh, okay, cool. I actually have a nice, I thought that will be good to start that one. I have a clip about how it was, maybe 40 years ago, or how it was in the early times when it was not that easy to travel to Europe for people from Australia. It's a clip about a woman who married with a hand glove, and we'll see how it went in that time. So have a look. Yeah. Vertel, wie is Ina?
Wie is Ina? Nou, als opgroeiend meisje was ik erg timide. Ik durfde nooit voor mezelf op te komen. Altijd nogal het kleinste meisje in de klas natuurlijk. En ik was altijd de laatste die werd gevraagd voor dingen. En na mijn schooltijd of na andere dingen, ik ben een beetje bij de handen geworden. Maar het heeft jaren geduurd voordat ik dingen durf te doen. En ik denk bij mezelf, alles wat je wil doen, probeer het. En ik was 20 toen ik hier kwam.
Hoezo? Hoe kwam je hier dan?
Mijn vader was overleden het jaar daarvoor. En mijn moeder had heimwee naar mijn broer. En ik had een oudere broer in Hilversum dan. En mijn jongste broer die was op bijna 20-jarige leeftijd naar Australië gegaan. En toen was mijn vader in die tussentijd overleden. En het was ongeveer 3 jaar daarna of 4 jaar daarna. En toen zei mijn moeder, weet je wat? We gaan van Wij Komen heette dat toen de tijd, was een organisatie. Kunnen we op een boot gaan en dan gaan we naar Australië voor een jaar. Dus toen gingen we op de boot en mijn broer woonde toen de tijd in Coonabarabran. Dat is in New South Wales. In de tussentijd had hij 2 kindertjes, getrouwd met een Griekse vrouw. Toen waren we daar 6,5 maand en mijn moeder had een tante die ze niet meer had gezien sinds dat ze in verwachting was van mij. En ik was 19 toen de tijd. En toen zei ze van, mijn tante zegt, nou dan moet je de laatste 3,5 maand moet je bij mij komen in Daften, Victoria. Mijn moeder zei, waar is dat? Nou ja, toen zijn we in ieder geval daar naartoe gegaan. En toen hadden ze ook een kennis, die kwam van Den Haag. Aan een Nederlander dus, maar die was hier ook al jaren. En toen hadden ze voor mij een blind date gedaan. En toen zei ik, nou dat heb ik nog nooit in mijn leven gedaan. Ik was 19,5. En die woonde dan ook in Melbourne. Die was geëmigreerd na de oorlog. Was in het leger. En hij was 1946 was hij hier gekomen. Van Nederland, van Den Haag. En nou, ik vond het wel leuke mannen mee uit te gaan.
Ja.
Dus ik was nog jong, ik was bijna 20. En toen ben ik dan met hem uitgegaan naar Olinda, was erg leuk. En ik vond het wel leuk en hij vond mij ook leuk. En hij zegt, op jou heb ik mijn hele leven gewacht. Ik zeg, oh ja, maak je altijd van die leuke grapjes met je vriendinnetjes. Hij zegt, ik zou best wel met jou willen trouwen. Ik zeg, oh... Ik denk trouwen of mee uitgaan. Ik zeg, ja, maar ik ga weer terug naar Nederland op de boot. Nou zegt hij, maar dan kan je toch terugkomen? Dus hij zegt, ik wil met je moeder spreken. Mijn moeder zegt, ben je mal? Je bent nog groen achter je oren. Dat gebeurt niet. En ze is nog geen 20 en we gaan eerst terug. Hij zegt, en toen zei mijn moeder, als je voor elkaar geschapen bent, dan kom je wel terug.
Ja.
Toen ben ik teruggegaan op de boot met tranen in mijn ogen. En het was ongeveer bijna 5 weken op het schip om weer terug te gaan. Want we waren op vakantie uiteindelijk. Dus dat is even anders. En toen werd ik dan 20 jaar. En toen kreeg ik 20 rode rozen van hem. En toen was er een verrassing voor mij. Want het was heel moeilijk toen de tijd van Australië naar Nederland te bellen. Met een echo.
Ja.
En toen zegt hij, wil je met me trouwen? Ik zeg, wat? Wil je met mij trouwen? Ik zeg, ja, dat wil ik. Maar hoe kwam ik daar? Natuurlijk, al die papieren invullen. Je moest een keuring hebben. Ik weet niet of het nu nog zo is. En weer naar Den Haag, weer hier en weer daar. En dat was zo moeilijk. Toen zei mijn moeder, maar kind, ik heb maar 1 dochter. 2 zoons. Mijn ene zoon heb ik al de bruiloft niet meegemaakt, want het was in Australië. En nou ga jij ook nog naar Australië. En dan heb ik 1 dochter, ik ben niet bij de bruiloft. Toen zijn we naar een ambtenaar gegaan, die zei, waarom doe je het niet anders? Waarom ga je niet met de handschoen trouwen? Ik zeg, wat is de handschoen? Nog nooit van gehoord. Dat is bij proxy. Vroeger met Indonesische vrouwtjes was het toen de tijd ook dat ze dan hun man daar hadden en dat ze dan met de handschoen trouwden. Dus met de hand. Dus het is natuurlijk niet hetzelfde, maar ik moest zo lang wachten. Iedereen was op vakantie en de papieren kwamen niet van Australië. Het ging allemaal heel erg langzaam. En eindelijk dan, 31 augustus kon ik dan gaan trouwen. Was ook een koninginnedag toen de tijd. Ja, natuurlijk van koningin Wilhelmina. Dus de vlaggen waren allemaal uit. Mijn jurk, toen de tijd in 1962 was de mode, was een korte sluier en nogal met een grote, hoe zeg je dat, met zo'n hoep eronder.
Oh, ja.
Ik heb hem nog.
Ja?
Maar ik kom er niet meer in, want dat was maat 36 en daar ben ik echt niet meer. Jammer genoeg. Maar dat was ontzaglijk leuk. Ik had een hele mooie bruiloft en een grote receptie. Dus mijn moeder had nog haar zin. Nee, maar mijn oudste broer was de bruidegom. Had ook een hoed op. Mijn oudste broer was de bruidegom.
Maar de rest was gewoon echt, het feest was er.
Het feest heb ik gedaan, alles gedaan. Alles. Het was ook meteen een afscheidfeest natuurlijk. Ja. Mijn man die belde op, die zei, zijn we nu eigenlijk al getrouwd? En mijn moeder zei, ja, je bent nu echt mijn schoonzoon. En het heeft nog 7 weken geduurd voordat ik eindelijk naar Australië. Ik was een bruid van 7 weken. En toen zijn we op de huwelijksreis gegaan naar Service Paradise.
So, what do you think about this, marrying with a hand glove?
A lot has changed, hasn't it?
Yeah.
We actually had a wedding live streamed
Oh,
on the internet, so people in the Netherlands could watch it as well.
yeah.
Because I guess we had a similar problem. We have a lot of friends back home in the Netherlands, and some of them came over for the wedding, but lots didn't. So
Yeah.
the distance is always difficult. But we have the internet these days, so it's
Yeah.
a bit
Was
easier.
that hard for you, or did you have a job already, or?
It was hard, but I enjoyed it at the same time because it's like starting all over for me. At least
Yeah.
it was because we literally came here with a suitcase, and I didn't know that many people. I found out that Melbourne was an enormous city, as in for every job you apply, there are hundreds of other people applying for the same job, which I
Yeah.
wasn't really used to back home. So they could be hurdles, but I also really enjoyed it. Like literally every corner of the city you took, there was something new. There's a new restaurant, a new cafe, and official hurdles maybe the paperwork.
Yeah.
But that's just something you have to do. And I find like when you migrate to another country for love, I don't want to sound cheesy, but they're not going to stop you. It's just paperwork. So
Yeah. Were the people were saying it will not succeed, you will not succeed? Were the people saying that to you?
No, but I remember a lot of people saying like, "Oh, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that." But I think when you love someone, that's out of the question. You do whatever you want to do to be together.
Yeah. So how is that with you? Is that yeah?
Yeah, I just like my wife came over to be in the Netherlands with me, and yeah, because I couldn't get work off, she traveled with me for 2 weeks in the
Okay.
truck.
Yeah.
So through whole Europe, and then 2 more weeks. That was in December, so she had Sinterklaas and stuff with us. Then she had to go back because of the visa, and then 4 months later, I came over here with no idea where I was going.
Oh wow.
Just the suitcase. I sold everything at home, and
Yeah.
I just went.
Yeah. And somebody said it's not a good idea to do that.
Definitely, because we got married pretty quick. That's when people really started saying like, "Oh, should
are
you
you
do
doing?"
that? And is this only for the visa and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
that?" And really like, "Oh, no, of course not. We're not gonna do stuff like that only for the visa." That's
Yeah.
just-
That's actually an interesting thing that for the visa, because I actually a little bit worried that people, especially young women, will marry not for love but for the visa.
yeah.
I'm like, oh
But
no.
it's like, if we would have done it for the visa, we would have looked better into it, because if you have the intention to get married, you only pay, I think, $2,500, and we had to pay $5,500 because we were already married when we applied for it.
Oh, okay. So it's
So-
so it's cheaper to do.
Yeah, we make the wrong decision to get married first and then apply for the visa, for the
Okay.
partner visa.
Yeah.
Yep.
So and for Alison, how do your friends reacted that you got this Dutch guy over?
Lucky girl.
Yeah. They thought it was a lucky girl. Yeah.
I think they know how fortunate I am, being able to live in the country with the man I love. But I think they're also scared that maybe I might move over there too one day. It's always a possibility, but
Yeah. Yeah, that's really scary. Are the Dutchies better than the Aussies?
yes, I think so.
No pressure.
You can't say no, actually. No. Does Robin likes to go to the footy and doing that sort of things, or?
No, he's not right quite into the sports here yet.
I find out it's a major sin to live here for 5 years and I haven't picked a footy team yet.
No?
That's a no-go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
Don't like admitting that one.
Okay, yeah, that's actually interesting because that's the first thing I did. I picked a footy team. I'm not into footy at all.
I
but
tried to pick one for him, but
Yeah. You just have to. Yeah. So, what are sort of things you want to teach him about the Australian culture?
What I could teach him, definitely the football side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be nice. A little bit of competition in the house could be a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Surfing maybe.
Surfing. Yeah. Are you surf yourself?
No. I used to. I used to when I was younger, but not for many years.
Oh, you still can do that together and just go
that's
to
right.
Great Ocean Road and.
Yeah, that's right.
You need a babysitter on the beach with the baby.
yeah.
I did all that.
Yeah.
So I picked a team. I did Bulldogs. So that's on the dog. That's red, white, and blue. So I just get you in that team now. Red, white, and blue.
Don't listen to
Red, white, and blue. There's also an orange team. That's in Sydney. So you can go for that.
Yeah.
So there are all sort of reasons why people choose a team.
I actually picked the Gold Coast Suns because they started in the same year that I arrived there, and Alison was like, "No, it has to be a Melbourne team," and I was like, "Okay, what about that team?" No, not that team. So I haven't picked
there are
it
rules.
yet.
There are rules.
There are rules. So what are the rules?
Definitely no Collingwood or Hawthorn or what else did I say no to? I think you only had the choice between Melbourne, Richmond, and St Kilda. Is that right? Yes.
Yeah. So that's the choice, and then he couldn't choose. Did you find a footy team here?
No, I'm not into sports at all. Like not even in the Netherlands.
No.
Because of my work, I couldn't I couldn't follow any sports anyway. So because I was always in another country. So. Yeah.
And do you teach your wife some Dutch things?
Oh yeah, well, she actually picks up by herself. Like she started to learn Dutch herself and with apps and stuff like that. She went a few times to the Dutch classes in the Dutch club, but she can't really afford that anymore, so she doesn't do that anymore. But she tries to like read my books and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And you, are you doing something Dutch?
I did. When I was in Belfast, I took a couple of classes.
Okay, yeah.
It was a couple of months of classes.
Yeah.
And learnt what I could. I could read a little bit and I can understand a little bit, but I can't speak it at all.
Yeah. And other Dutch things that you picked up that you think, oh, that's cute. What do you think it's cute from the Dutch?
About the language?
No, culture.
Oh, the culture?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I've seen plenty of people riding in bikes with flowers in the front, which is anything to do with riding bikes, holding umbrellas, holding their kids, riding in high heels. It's all new and different for us.
Thank you so much for coming to the studio. And it was really nice. Thank you.
My pleasure.
No worries. En voor nu starten we een TEDx-filmpje in. En dat gaat over nieuwe initiatieven vanuit Nederland. En die dan aan de wereld willen zien eigenlijk. Dus veel plezier met kijken.
Do you see a Dutch polder? Well, apart from the fact that it's my parents' backyard, I see electricity. What's this? Is it a rice paddy field? I say it's electricity. Everglades? Electricity. Now, before you start thinking that I'm gonna transform all these beautiful areas and all these green areas into coal-fired power plants, no, that's not my idea. Let me introduce myself. I'm Marjolein Helder, I'm CEO of Plenty, and at Plenty we produce electricity with living plants. So while the plant is growing, we can directly produce electricity without harvesting the plant and without putting this kind of coal-fired power plants there. And that's necessary because we're with over 7 billion people in the world. And we need energy and specifically electricity in an increasing amount for each and every one of them in the coming decades. And did you know that actually 1.2 billion people, 1.2 billion, that's this part of the world, that's 20%, still doesn't have access to electricity at all. That's a lot of people. So we need to do something about it. And we don't want to do it this way. You all know that coal-fired power plants are very bad for our environment, for the air quality. Oh, and by the way, we're slowly running out of fossil fuels. So we need alternatives. And yes, we've got some of them already. We've got wind turbines, we've got solar panels, we've got hydropower. Good solutions, all of them, but limited. Wind turbines only run when there's wind. Solar panels only work when there's sunlight. Hydropower only works when there's enough water and height difference. So I would like to add a new technology to this matrix of sustainable and renewable technologies, which is electricity from living plants. And now here you're thinking, how does that work? Well, let me show you. This is my friend Wally, and Wally produces electricity with living plants, obviously. So this wall is completely filled with plants, and the plant photosynthesizes, produces organic matter in this process, and uses part of it for its own growth. But what's left is excreted via the roots into the soil. And around the roots, bacteria break down the organic matter, and in this process, they release electrons. And we capture the electrons in a carbon electrode, so the carbon doesn't dissolve, it's inert, so it stays there, it's not harmful for the environment. So the electrons are transferred to the carbon. Sorry, I have to move a bit. And we harvest them via a wire, and then put a second electrode to it. And if you put two electrodes together, basically, you've got a battery. Now let me show you what happens when you connect that. So Wally here is producing electricity to charge my cell phone. Thank you, Wally. Now, think of what we could do with a lot of Wallys, because this is not a solution to our large-scale electricity problem, but it could be. So this is the first product we brought to the market recently. And I'm happy to tell you that we already found, within a month, 2 customers who are actually willing to be a launching customer, who dare to say, okay, give me 100 square meters of this system to charge cell phones or do other things with it. And these are the Dutch state and 2 municipalities, Ede and Wageningen. And they said, we don't care that it's not economically sustainable yet, because it will be in the future and we believe in this. So what can we do with it? You can put it on a roundabout. There are always plants on roundabouts, right? Put it on your roundabout and light the lights that are on the roundabout. Or put it on your roof. We have major problems with stormwater retention, with heating up of cities, with biodiversity in cities. You can put a green roof on your building and produce electricity for the building underneath, while insulating your roof, while increasing biodiversity. And you know what? The modular system is not where it stops. It's just the beginning. What we really want to do is make a system that can be applied in natural areas. And we've already started doing this. We're developing a tubular system that we can drill in horizontally in natural areas, so that every wetland in the world can become a power plant. You can produce electricity in the Dutch polders and rice paddy fields while producing food. Basically everywhere. So, just to have an idea about what it would mean, 4% of the Dutch wetlands would be enough to generate 20% sustainable electricity in 2020. Or, if you want to have a look at the bigger picture, 15% of the wetlands worldwide could generate all the electricity we need worldwide. Now, isn't that music to your ears? I think it is.
Volgende week zijn we weer op Channel 31 om 3 uur 's middags. En natuurlijk kan je ook alles terugkijken op www.dutchtvonline.com. En like ons op Facebook. Dutch TV. Tot dan.